BJ, before we get started tonight, we need to talk about your quality level as a friend. Because if you recall from our last podcast, we had our fantasy draft, and it's our kind of like an annual shit show. And I was admittedly very hammered, and you had the opportunity to let me tag along on the ride home that you were going to have. However, you left me high and dry, which caused me to go to bed at about 3 in the morning in my car, and I was to the level where I have the two car seats. I didn't sit on the passenger side and recline the seat where I could get the seat all the way back. I had the big car seat. I couldn't even recline back. So I've been sore for 3 days because I slept for 4 hours in this seated position. Your level of quality as a friend has taken a big hit after this past weekend.
Builds character, builds toughness.
So this is going to
Football
be my
guy.
first beer sent. Are you going to be joining me?
No, I'm not drinking for years to come.
I'll do it for both of us. Let's get loaded because this is the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finished last.
Welcome to week 1 of the 2021 NFL season, DJ. It feels good to be back into the swing of things with gambling, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm fucking, you know me, man.
Ooh.
You should have seen me Saturday. I was on fire. Even though I gave out, it was 1-4, maybe 2-3 on the Friday night lines. I ended up a winner at the end of the day Friday. I'm upset. I'm gonna be posting all my bets on Twitter before all games go live from now on, Saturday and Sunday. But oh man, I am woo. I'm ready to go, man.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I almost brought my money bag down here just to show you. Like I have this cool like bank envelope that all I do with it is throw. I usually take a lot of gambling money out of it, but every once in a while I get to throw some in there.
That's the best.
But yes, as we do during the regular season, we are going to be giving our favorite bets. Obviously, this being week 1 against the spread bets, money. DJ, your big thing is usually money line game, like money line game of the week. I don't think you even have one this week, but hey, maybe you'll build.
Fuck, I forgot about that. I'll find one.
Maybe you'll build up to it. I've got my 2-team teaser of the week once again, but before we get going, I think I'm going to start with one of your bets because you've got action on the Thursday night game. But can I just get like an apology before we start? I mean, I'm sore.
I don't actually think that happened. I don't think that happened.
It was brutal, man. I probably have bruises to show you, but here I am. I'm drinking. This is my first beer since, but I'm back on the wagon. I do it for the people because we are Loaded Box. And with that, DJ, the Cowboys and the Buccaneers kick things off on Thursday night. You're taking the Cowboys in this thing. You're getting 8 points. It seems like a lot, but I'll let you give the reasons as to why. But I'll ask you a question first.
Mm-hmm.
Are you nervous about, I think it's Zach Martin not playing and the Buccaneers already having a great defensive line and potentially not being able to protect Dak in his first game back? There's a lot of people out there that say this could just get out of hand.
Have you did you see like that Jerry Jones has like put Zach Martin on his plane and he's bringing there just in case he can like play last minute? Like he's doubtful, right? He got upgraded from out to doubtful because Jerry Jones is gonna try to get him in the game like last second. It's wild. It's a Jerry Jones move. It's a wild move. But no, I'm not too worried about that. The fact that Dak is back, that team can score offensively. They have a lot of weapons. And like I've said, obviously Tampa Bay's defense is really good. But I would say this all the time. Tom Brady didn't like win the Super Bowl. The defense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yes, he's smart. He's smarter than a lot of the quarterbacks in the league. And he is a reason why why the offenses play better a lot of times. And he knows his strengths and his weaknesses. So then he knows how to read defenses. But when it comes down to it, he threw 3 interceptions against Green Bay. He sucked against New Orleans. I think he was around that as well. Dallas is going to keep this close. They're a talented enough team. They've added guys defensively. I'm thinking hopefully I'm not buying into the hard knocks. I don't think because I hate Coach Mike McCarthy. I do think they're going to lose a bunch of games this year. They're so talented offensively. I think they can play with anybody. With Marcus Parsons added at defense, they've got Van Der Esch. They've got some dudes on D as well. Gregory at the end spot. They can play with this team. They can make Brady uncomfortable, and offensively they can score. They're a better offense than Tampa Bay, and it's not even a question to me. So 8 points, man. I am going to consider a money line bet on this one. I'm not even lying.
Nice, but you're putting 0.3 units,
0.3 units on it
on this one. I would say the one thing that scares me as well, like what's the old cliche when you go into week one, is that the defense is ahead of the offense. And if the defense for Tampa Bay is already one of the tops in the league and Dallas has offensive line question marks, that's what scares me. That's why I'm not betting on this game.
Yeah, I just think Dallas can play with anybody.
Let's go into one of your other bets because that game ties into one of the bets that I'm going to make, but I'll let you discuss yours first here. As you'll see if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, DJ's got under 48.5 of the Steelers and the Bills for 0.1 unit. DJ, why do you like the under? You're a guy that says life's too short to bet unders. What's happening?
I was really excited about the over in this game, but then I was like, I'm looking at two of these defenses, and the Steelers are one of the best pass rushers, pass rushing defenses in the league. And the Bills have, Tre'Davious, what's his last name?
White.
At
me.
cornerback. So they got one of the best cornerbacks. Yeah, exactly, like you, in the league, and just an overall very good defense as well. And it goes back to the thing you said about defenses are ahead of offenses. Both these offenses are really talented. Both these defenses are also really good. So I think it's going to be a lot slower than people expect. And Allen and Roethlisberger are both going to struggle in this game. I think 48.5 in game one, just way too many points right off the bat. I think it's going to be a little sloppy right away. Roethlisberger didn't play the entire preseason. Did Josh Allen, did he play a minute? No, I think it was Trubisky the entire time. So
Allen played some, wasn't it, against did they play the Packers?
Maybe in the last. Oh, yeah, they did, because the Packers played their backups the entire time. And
he fired like 2 touchdowns and just
he did. You're right.
Like, all right, we've seen enough.
Against nobody, though. They literally had. I don't even think any of those guys are on the team that Josh Allen was playing against in the beginning. But yeah, so I like the defensive battle in this one. 48.5 is too much. They're not gonna light it up. Like, they're not playing the Falcons defense or the Jets defense. They're playing each other, who both have great weapons, but they both also have really, really, really talented defenses.
It's weird because in week one, so I obviously looked through all the lines and I've got 5 carded plays myself, but I didn't even pay attention to the over-unders in this, which is kind of weird. My theory behind it was I feel like I've got an okay grasp of how I feel the teams are going to do, but I'm nervous about the whole idea of predicting total points, which kind of contradicts itself. Because
I'm the way opposite. I
noticed.
Week one, I don't know the teams at all, and I'm just kind of hoping. But you don't know anything in the NFL for like 3 weeks, it seems like. So I either set my fades or tails, like maybe for a couple of 3 teams. But if it's the number, is what I'm just gonna fuck with.
I'm gonna go into my 2-team teaser of the week here, because this one actually bleeds into another one of your straight up picks. And my teaser is bumping the 49ers down to being favored by 1.5 against the Lions, and bumping the Bills down to they literally just have to win against the Steelers. DJ, if you remember from last year, almost all of my 2-team teasers incorporated the Packers. And you texted me and said, "Oh, I bet it includes the Packers." I almost substituted the Bills for the Packers in this one. And you know what? I might end up doing both. However, since it's at Buffalo, since I'm admittedly not a Steelers believer this year. I think they're going to struggle. And I think from the podcast, man, I had the Bills making a deep run. I had Josh Allen win an MVP.
I had him in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so you should agree with this one.
It's tough.
You're on the 49ers, and then all the Bills have to do is win. And you're giving me the home team here, who's the better team coming off of the AFC Championship game. That one feels good to me. And then the 49ers, who I'll let you bleed into some 49er talk because you've got them against the Lions as well with one of your straight up picks, to make them only be favored by 1.5, despite the fact that it's on the road. That doesn't scare me whatsoever. You look at like all the people out there that are doing like fantasy predictions and stuff, like your starts and sits, and everyone says, dude, for the 49ers, use their running backs because they're going to get up early, and Raheem Mostert is just going to just have a day. Always breaking off long runs. One of the fastest players in the league. It's weird because I almost did this on last time's podcast too. I wanted to try to say nice things about the Lions because Jared Goff isn't great. We get that. But he's not the NFL's worst quarterback by any means. And they've got Hawkinson, and they've got
worst starting quarterback, I think.
No, he's not the worst starting quarterback.
I think he's the worst starting quarterback.
I mean, he's probably bottom 8.
No, worse than that.
I'd have to get the list out.
It'd be like him, Tua,
I'm already done with this
Tyrod.
conversation. Already done with this conversation. But this tease feels like you're stealing to me, and I'll let you talk about the 49ers here because I'll put it up here on the scroll. The actual line is 49ers by 7.5, and you're putting a full unit. This is your biggest play of the week.
This is a lock. This is a lock. This is going to be like 21-0 or 24-0 after like the halfway through the second quarter. Trey Lance is going to get some action, but I don't see how the Lions move the ball up and down the field. The Niners are returning their entire defense. Closes back. I mean, they're getting everybody back that they missed last year. Their offensive line is back healthy again on offense. They can run the ball and dominate. Even Garoppolo will be able to throw successfully out of the play action on this terrible, piss-poor Lions sieve of a defense.
I think he'll have a good game. I think he's going to have a really good game.
I think so, too. And Jared Goff is he's a bad quarterback. And if TJ Hawkinson's his only weapon, I think it's real wide receivers, DeAndre Swift, who looks like he's healthy and ready to go. I don't care. I mean, you can't succeed with nothing around you. You just can't.
Right.
Quarterback's not good. The whole offense isn't good. They're going to struggle to get to 10 points. I really believe there's going to be unless there's some kind of weird turnover. I don't know how they get past the 50-yard line as this before. This is below a city 7.5. I mean, double digits. At 10, I'd probably take the Niners. So a one whole unit. Love this game. Love it. Love it. It's probably my lock of the weekend.
I think the only thing that we didn't touch on yet was that 49ers defense. That was a good unit a couple of years ago, and it's only got better, and they're healthy now.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough one for the Lions. Week 1 throws curveballs. That's why I don't have any huge unit plays. That's why to see you right away. So if you're new to how we do it, one unit equals $100. So 0.1 would equal $10, 0.2 would equal 20, so on and so forth. So DJ's throwing the fat hundy on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I like the confidence.
It's my favorite one. Yeah, it's so exciting. I feel like people are going to get scared of that 7.5 number. No, don't be afraid of that. That's what they want you to be afraid.
And if you are, just tease it. Move it to 1.5. Here's that other game that I considered moving it into that tease with you. By the way, DJ, you should really crack a beer. They're tasting better than I anticipated. No lie.
No, I don't want to do that.
DJ, you're also betting on the Packers. That's the game I considered teasing. It's Green Bay favored by 4. They're on the road, but it's technically a road game for both. They're playing the game at Jacksonville, right?
Yeah. Yes, they are.
0.2 unit bet. You're going with your home squad. Surprise, surprise.
Have to. I mean, it was last year it worked for me. It was probably I don't know, just 70%. They probably covered the spread. I think they were up there with the Dolphins in spread coverage last year, if I remember. I was actually watching one of my videos recently, and it was them and I think the Dolphins were number 1 and they were number 2 right behind them in covering the spread last year. And I don't understand why they're doing this by only favoring them by 4 points with no wide receivers. Jair Alexander covering Marquez Callaway, who's really nothing to me. Jameis Winston going up against that pass rush, and then obviously Aaron Rodgers. It's a reckoning. It's a fucking reckoning. You don't think he's gonna come out and wreck these fucking Saints defenders? He's about to go off. And MBS is gonna have a game. Use him in DFS.
What a great prediction that is. Do you think we're getting lucky here that the Packers had all the offseason issues and they didn't play anyone in preseason and they're only favored by 4? Is that the reason? Because I kind of think if you look at this game, especially moving it out of New Orleans, with how many issues the Saints have had, losing Drew Brees, losing Michael Thomas, this spread shouldn't be this low. It looks like a trap game, but at the same time, I just think it's a little bit of uncertainty. People are like, oh, well, Rodgers had the general public is like, oh, Rodgers had a deal. How is the team going to react against it? Yeah. And they didn't play anyone throughout preseason. I think you're getting a gift with this. Mm-hmm. And we always talk about it. Sunday morning, you get a little bit of an itch. You're like, yeah, I'll probably add another bet or two. This is probably one that I'm going to add.
People nationally, if you're the unknown and they're like, oh, Rodgers drama, blah, blah, and they're not going to be that good. Rodgers is 100% locked in. Devontae's locked in. This team is literally Super Bowl or bust. This could be our last year. They're all in. If you're local, you know that this is a game that Green Bay is just going to go in and they're just going to dominate. The offense isn't going to skip a beat because they did this last year and they returned almost everybody. The offensive line is the only concern, right?
Right.
We got Bakhtiari. out for 6 weeks. We've got a rookie left tackle or left guard and a rookie center starting together for the first time like ever. And then Billy Turner starting at right tackle, which is very nerve-wracking. But it's Aaron Rodgers, and this is what the Packers do with offensive line, and that might be the biggest thing because I know the Saints aren't a bad pass rushing team, but it doesn't concern me. They'll adjust to that. They'll bring in more guys, and Rodgers, run 2-3 wide receivers, have Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon back there with a little extra protection, or Mercedes Lewis is the best right tackle tight end in the entire league.
That's right.
So I mean, he's amazing at pass blocking, and that's why he's still on this team. So no, they'll cover this.
I've said this to you before, but let's say they were playing Jacksonville or New York or one of these teams with a starting rookie quarterback, and they had that kind of offensive line. That would be cause for concern.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, who's been doing this at a high level for a decade plus, he knows how to manipulate defenses. He knows how to get rid of the ball fast.
Yep.
And he makes, for whatever you want to think, he'll make any other offensive lineman that much better because he's getting the ball out of his hands. That's what he's doing.
And sometimes he does this thing where he sees a guy. I mean, he's one of the quarterbacks that, like, if a guy is kind of beat, he makes the move the right way so that the defensive lineman has to go back into the lineman who's in position. So it's great.
No, he's got that. It's like a pocket manipulation. Like he's just so good at it. But so I'm not fazed by that. I believe this is going to be a Sunday morning. I got that extra itch. Let's put a little money on the Packers. I'll probably join you on that
3
one.
3 o'clock game, so you have time to think about it too.
Oh shit! I can be hungover for it.
It's great.
Beautiful. We'll go into one of mine here then, just because I might as well knock out my favorite teams as well here. Miami Dolphins are getting 3 points at New England. This is my biggest This is my biggest bet of the entire week. I'm going a half unit here. I'm going 0.5 units. I love this. I actually put money already last week on the Dolphins money line in this game. There is so much hype around the New England Patriots right now. You watch NFL Network, 3 out of your 4 analysts are predicting that they're going to get a wild card berth. No one is anticipating Mac Jones having like these rookie hiccups, having the ups and downs. No one is factoring that in. It's going to happen. It's damn near inevitable. And why I love the idea of Miami getting them in week 1. It's his first career start. All he's seen in the NFL is preseason defenses. Brian Flores already plays New England great every single time. He has some of the most unique blitz packages that Mac Jones has definitely never seen. And you've got a guy in Xavier Howard who had 10 interceptions last year, who's going to match that total against Mac Jones this upcoming week. I think there's a good chance. Let's say Miami can get up 10-14 early. That defense is going to wreak havoc. If New England can't control the game and slow it down with the run game, this could get a little bit out of hand. And here's the wild card too. Stefan Gilmore, one of the best cornerbacks in the league, starting the season on PUP. Miami playing in New England could not have come at a better time, because you're going to get good weather. You're getting a rookie on his first start, and you're not going against one of the best cornerbacks in the league. And you're going to give me 3 points? Hit this with the spread and hit this with the money line.
I'm going to fade you and refute a couple of things. Number 2, Tua is basically a rookie quarterback. Belichick is better than anybody in the league against rookie quarterbacks because he's better, he's smarter. His success against young quarterbacks or basically rookie quarterbacks is unmatched in the NFL. So you have the same thing going on the other side. So if I have to go young QB versus young QB, I'm taking the Belichick side of it because I'd be more worried about Tua versus Belichick than I am about Mac versus Brian Flores.
Before you get to your next point, I will tell you that Tua Tagovailoa is 1-0 lifetime against New England and Bill Belichick.
Mac Jones can't be any worse than what Cam Newton was last year, and all he had was legs last year for you. So if he didn't have legs, he wouldn't beat you in the first game.
That's why New England won that game, though, is because of Cam Newton's running.
But he couldn't do anything else. He really couldn't. And like
he didn't need to. Fitzpatrick threw 3 interceptions.
3. You tell me every year that this run defense is going to improve, and they don't. So I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, every year. I'm going to go ahead and assume Rashawn Stevenson's going to see a lot of action behind Damian Harris as well.
Ooh.
And they're going to run the Ramondre Stevenson. And they're going to run the ball a ton with both, obviously, the starter, Damian Harris, and Ramondre Stevenson. And they're just going to try to wear them down, just death by 1,000 cuts. So, I mean, the under I do kind of like in this now that I'm talking myself into it, but I'm going to fade you just because fuck it, those glasses are getting you blind.
Yeah, those shades, baby, get them out. The
Yeah,
future's bright.
you can't see anything correctly.
I gotta brush them off. I haven't had to
This
need
is
them
the
for a
Ben
while.
fade play of the week.
I will say in rebuttal, real quick, to your idea of not being able to stop the run, they made some strides last year, and the interior of Zach Sealer, Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis is probably the strongest that has been since the Ndamukong Suh. I forgot now
Just
who he
Ndamukong
was
Suh.
paired with. Well, Cam Wake on the edge and everything, but this is probably the best that they're going to have up front. The one thing that I will say that you didn't hit on yet, why I would be scared about Miami in this game, although it's not going to like make me go crazy yet, is their offensive line.
Mhm.
Austin
Yeah,
Jackson,
you've talked
who's
about that.
already not great the way it is, on the COVID list. You've got Liam Eichenberg, who spent all training camp either at left guard or right tackle. Now there's rumor that maybe he'll play left tackle, but he's been injured the last part of training camp and preseason as well, so he's been limited with his reps. That is the one area where if Miami does fail me here in week 1, it will be because of the offensive line.
Yeah,
That's
true.
all I'm going to say about that. DJ, let's go back into one of yours. I don't think we talked about this game, and I'm intrigued by it because you seem to be very confident, and I couldn't get farther away from this game.
Oh yeah.
Tell me why the LA Chargers are worth putting a half unit on the road against Washington.
Washington's not very good. But again, it's a product of the NFC East. I was talking about this on our last podcast when we did the season prediction. It's a product of they played against each other. So yeah, defenses look great and their defense was pretty good, but their offense struggled. I don't think Fitzpatrick does. He doesn't do anything for me. He's Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm not going to get excited because some 30-year-old Harvard graduate comes in. And I've seen him throw a million interceptions. He's never had a time where he's a guy who's going to win you games. Now you're talking about the best offensive line probably in the NFL with the LA Chargers at this point. I know Austin Eckler's a little iffy right now.
Yeah, that kind of sprung up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
all the
where the fuck did that come from?
About, like, not participating in Wednesday practice.
Injured his hamstring today, I think, in the closed. I think it was this morning, but in the closed session. And didn't participate. So
here's the deal, though. They're probably, after last year, they got to be a little bit more used to playing without him.
Yeah,
and then a blow.
Like I said, Justin Herbert was great last year, and now the offensive line is twice as good, and he's still got Keenan Allen and all those weapons around him, and the defense is very good. They're just gonna win this game. I just don't see how they don't win this game. I'm not worried about time zone flying or whatever the fuck it is. It's too early in the season for that. And it's probably a 3:00 game. I don't remember if I've looked or not, but usually those type of matchups are 3:00 games in the AFC, NFC type of matchups. And if it's not, I don't care. They get there early enough, they'll get used to it. I just think the Chargers are just straight up better. I don't care that they're flying out there. I just think they're a better football team. And if you're giving me the option to pick, I'm smashing the Chargers. I'm gonna tail them immediately right away this year.
I remember going through game by game for that last podcast where we do our season predictions, and I remember specifically tanking Washington in this game. And I'm a broken record here because we've said it before. The defense ahead of the offense. It's probably cliche. I don't have any stats. You just hear it growing up. You're like, oh, the defense is always ahead of the offense. You just hear it. And I like Washington's defense a hell of a lot better than the LA Chargers at this point. I do agree that the Chargers have a better offense. Yeah, Herbert's a better player. Yeah, the Chargers have better skilled players, but there's something about that Washington team this year that I think I don't know if it's because of last year.
Is that Joey?
Huh?
Is that Joey Bosa? I always forget the Bosa teams.
It is Joey, correct?
I thought so. He's a fucking monster, obviously. Casey Hayward's a beast. Is Derwin James back and healthy?
Derwin James is there finally again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they have dudes, man.
Yeah. There's just something, I think that it's kind of in your head about last year with the whole NFC East and how bad they were. And I think you're holding it against them. We see teams in the NFL bounce back rather quickly these days. And I don't think the NFC East, Cowboys and Washington specifically, are going to be quite as bad as what you're holding on to. So I think why I like Washington
against the Chargers.
Well, that's the thing, though. I think why I like Washington and Dallas is the same reason that like you don't like them, but you like the Chargers so much more. So I think it's just like a preconceived notion in our heads as to why we're so different on
I don't
this
think
one.
it's preconceived. I watched them play football and they're boring as shit.
It
And
doesn't matter if you're
well, and
boring.
I just don't think they can score whether it's Ryan Fitzpatrick or not. And I just think the Chargers will be able to score on anyone.
Well, we'll find out Sunday.
We will. I'll win.
I'm not your bookie, so I'm good. Let's bounce into one of mine here. I was kind of surprised to not see you on this one because the Titans are favored by 3 at home against the Cardinals. I'm going 0.2 units on the Titans. I really thought you were going to be on this because you're not really a big Kyler Murray fan. You seem to always be a little bit down on the Cardinals. And if you're new to the podcast, we call him Tyler Tannehill because once he went to Tennessee, he was a brand new quarterback.
Yep.
And you've been his biggest fan since doing that. And now he's got Derrick Henry, one of the best actual running backs in the league. AJ Brown and Julio Jones, which is a top 3 wide receiver duo in the league.
Anthony Ferkser. They can't stop tight ends.
And Ferkser. And that's the thing, too. Even if the Cardinals' defense improves a little bit this year, they're still not going to be.
They can't stop tight ends. They were the worst against the tight end in the league last year, too.
Are you telling me to DFS some Ferkser this week?
I might be telling you to DFS some Ferkser this year. This week. Absolutely.
I like it. I'm very non-in-depth on a lot of my bets this week just because we haven't seen anything. We don't have anything official to go off of. I'm just going off of a lot of projections. And I had the Cardinals projected at 11 wins, but I think I had the Titans projected at 12. So I think both these teams are going to be fine. But once again, you're giving me the home team. You're giving me the team that I clearly think is better. I think the Titans are a legit Super Bowl contender, whereas I don't see that with the Cardinals. Give me the 3 points, and I'm going to go. I'm all day. I'm actually surprised I didn't go more units on this one.
Both defenses are bad units. I mean, the Titans are bad. You say they can't be worse, but they can be just as bad. And if they're a little better, they're still terrible. And same with the Cardinals. There's not much I like out of either of these defenses. So it's really about ball control. And I just don't, in game 1, I cannot make a bet. So if I bet, it would be over or under, and it'd probably be the over. But I couldn't choose a side on this game. I have no fucking idea. 3 points. The Cardinals can easily win this football game. So I'm just
fair enough. Well, how about you go into your Broncos Giants over under? I hear a child. So as you do this in filibuster, if you need to go into your next one, that's fine.
I don't have it.
I'm going to do my best to get back as soon as possible. So as Lil Wayne once said, go DJ.
All right, so I've got the Broncos and Giants. And this is just episode of Friday Night Lights at this point. So this is where I thrive. This is where I work my best now, and I don't need Ben there. I'm really excited about this. So I hope he's with that baby for a long time. I have got the Broncos and the Giants. It's a small bet because the 41.5 is the over-under. I'm going over the 41.5. I know both have solid defenses. I don't think the Giants defense is as good as what we say. I know Ben keeps saying defenses are ahead of offenses, but I think experienced teams, which these aren't, don't really care about the defenses being ahead. I mean, I've watched the Packers pick apart their own defense, the Jets defense. It didn't matter what defense it was in training camp and things like that. So I don't really like to think too much like that all the time if the offense is experienced. This game here, we have a new Teddy Bridgewater in the Broncos versus a Daniel Jones supposing to get all these weapons, right? They're getting Saquon Barkley back, who's not going to be fully 100% go, but he's going to be playing. And you've got all these weapons and Kenny Golladay and Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. And I just saw a report that Kadarius Toney is going to be heavily involved. I don't believe any of that shit at all.
Who's sending us those notifications,
I hate
by
those,
the way?
But they've got all these weapons, so they sure as hell better score some points. You know, all I need is about 15 out of them, maybe 2 touchdowns, 17 points out of them, and a field goal. And Teddy Bridgewater with the weapons he has now, Jerry Jeudy's supposed to be amazing. Cortland Sutton, I love. I got my buy Javonte Williams. And like I said, Ben, when you weren't listening, I think the Giants defense is massively overrated. I don't think they're as good as what people are putting down on paper.
Yeah, a lot of people love that defense.
And I don't like Blake Martinez. I think that's just a mirage. I think teams are I think they're gonna score on each other. I think they're gonna be able to score on each other. Broncos more. I think the Broncos win the game. I think Broncos more than the Giants. Because I just don't trust what is happening. But they have Saquon back. So he's got to, I mean, I better see something because I hear all these Giants fans all excited. Their offensive line is shit, but this is a truly a if they don't go over and the Giants suck, I'm going to troll Giants fans so hard, and I don't care if I lose type of deal because they're so excited about all these offensive weapons, and this team is all excited. All these Giants fans are so fucking annoyed. So I'm going to bet the over to just be like, all right, if I win, guess what? You guys can be cocky that you guys got the bunch of points, and if not, I'm going to shit on you either way. So it's a win-win for me in this bet, this one. So it's just an emotional hedge. It's great. So I can't lose.
Sounds messy, if anything. And the reason why I think that this boy that I'm holding on to right now woke up is because he heard you talking shit about the Dolphins, and he's legit named after Cam Wake. So you got to apologize to me again, not only for not drinking tonight and not only for not giving me a ride home last weekend, but also for waking up my kid for all that negative Dolphins talk.
No, is that a Dolphins blanket? That baby's screwed.
It is. This baby is screwed. No, I don't mind that pick. It's such a low total. Man, if you have one defensive or special teams touchdown or an outburst quarter, that puppy's going over.
Right, and that's the other thing. The quarterbacks are so questionable that we might have a couple pick sixes in one game.
Well, especially with my rookie of the year, Pat Surtain, just picking on Daniel Jones.
We could have a situation where field position is like awesome for some situations just because offenses F up as well. So I got to get lucky. Again, small bet, not overly confident, but semi-confident and emotional hedge. So, if you like to have some fun shitting on Giants fans, jump on it with me.
Fair enough. I'm going to scoot over to another New York team because it's, as everyone's labeling it, the Sam Darnold revenge games. And man, I'm betting on Darnold this week. I'm going 0.2 units on the Panthers. They're favored by 5.5 against the Jets. It's the kind of the same deal again. Like, do you really want to bet on a rookie quarterback in his first ever start? Nope. Do I kind of like what the Panthers have been doing on defense, just like dedicating all of last year's draft? Like, it's going to get better.
Maybe.
I do like that. You know what else I like? I like Christian McCaffrey being back. He's going to want to set the tone. I love Darnold in a new uniform against his old team. He's going to set the tone. Guess what? Robbie Anderson's in that same boat.
DJ Moore's going to eat.
Well, that's the thing. You're one of the world's biggest DJ Moore fans. He's
going to fucking eat. If you want to stack some dumb DFSers, Sam Darnold and DJ Moore, ooh, I mean, I can already see myself one of my 4 lineups this weekend stacking that.
This was one where you see 5.5. You see anything around that 6 market, it catches my eye for one of the 2-team teasers. Doesn't even faze me on this one. You're at home. You're favored by less than a touchdown against the Jets. I don't mind the Jets. I don't mind what they're doing. I think they're building the right way.
This year.
But it's going to be a process. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. So not a huge play on this one, but I'm going to go 0.2 units on the Panthers.
Yeah, I really like the Panthers in this game. Sam Darnold, revenge. Robbie Anderson's there with them. DJ Moore is going to fucking eat, and Christian McCaffrey's back. This could be just an ass kicking where the Panthers just don't let up. Like, they just don't let up. Sam Darnold's like, no, stomp their fucking. I wish games
they owe it to
stomp
me.
Their faces into the ground. And it has nothing to do with the coach. It's the whole front office and everything.
The whole city is just fucking going to burn.
Yes.
This Bears-Rams game that you're betting on, is that the Sunday night game?
That is the Sunday night game. So I was like, well, I'm going to bet on it no matter what. So I might as well make a play on it for the people, because that's what I'm about. I am for the people. I am betting the under. I'm betting under 46 at 1.3 units on this one. Semi-confident game. This is a situation where I do like the defenses, like up against the offenses. Matt Stafford's brand new in this offense, going up against a very solid defense. And obviously the Rams were best scoring defense in the league last year. Gave up very little amount of points throughout the year. Now they've got Matt Stafford. I think that projects, faults them for the rest of the year going forward. But they are going up against a solid unit who just, when your quarterback's really bad, you kind of give up. Like the Bears defense last year, how do you not just give up? It's like you throw Nick Foles out here after Trubisky, and everybody knew Nick Foles was worse, and they couldn't pull him because it would have looked bad, and then he got injured or whatever, and then they put Trubisky, and Trubisky was clearly better, but they were both so bad that the Bears defense was like how do you continue to try to drag your quarterback and offensive, your coach and all that? How do you doesn't carry that weight on your shoulder gets tiring, and any defense would be bad after that, because it's what's the point anymore? You can't score anyways,
Right.
and you get tired. You're on the field the entire time. It's unbelievable, and I think it's gonna be a low scoring game. Yeah, under the 46 again. I think that's just well too many. Anywhere near 50, I think it's just too close to 50. I see, max 25 points from one team if they get there, but I don't think anybody gets it to that high of a score.
And I would say that the only way we're going to flirt with that is if the Rams all of a sudden on week 1 bounce out and turn into the team that everyone thinks they're going to be on week 10.
Yeah, and I just think it's going to be a couple week work in progress of that new offense for Stafford. I'm sure he's going to pick it up quick, but it's defenses figuring those out, figuring out how the offense works. Even like Rodgers right away with Matt LaFleur was like not 100% comfortable yet with it,
for
like,
sure.
Right at the beginning of the year, and they still went 13-3, but he admittedly wasn't super comfortable with that offense yet.
Right.
They were still working through kinks, so it's early with a defense that good for them to put up just monster numbers right away. And the Bears just probably won't score with Andy Dalton at quarterback. So
I'm going to bust into my last one before we go into a complete meltdown mode here. I'm already juggling a pacifier and my headphone cord. The last one I've got is the Seahawks at the Colts, and it's Seahawks by 2.5. I don't have a huge unit play on it. It's tied for my lowest one of the week, 0.2 units. So I'm not splurging on this one, but it goes back to that notion. How do I think a team's going to do this season? And I've got the Seahawks as the 7 seed, and I have the Colts. Like, I'm not a believer. There's a lot of people that think the Colts aren't a shoo-in for a wild card, but that they're going to compete for a wild card, and I just don't really see it. Think about this, too. You got the Quentin Nelson injury. You've got Carson Wentz, who's coming back and expected to play and everything from that, but the initial reports were like, oh, he's going to be out for a long time. Also, another quarterback that's playing in his first game with his first team. And the Seahawks aren't juggernauts on defense. We know that.
They're massively improved the second half of the season, FYI.
They did.
Massively, yeah.
But you know why I like Seattle the most in this one, despite it being on the road? Who looks better in the first 6 or 7 weeks of any NFL team ever Russell the last Wilson 5 years?
Yeah, Russell Wilson goes ham.
Always. So keep this thing less than a field goal. Even if it goes up to 3, I'm still taking it. 3.5, I don't like it as much. But at 2.5, I like it. Not a huge bet. Like I said, it's week 1. Let me ease into this a little bit. But Seattle at Indy, I'm taking the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm not really buying what the Colts are selling right now. I just can't. And like you said, Russell's good right away. If this was a game like week 10, I would predict it 6-9. Because they do that once a year against somebody. It used to be the Panthers, Washington type thing. You go like 6-9 or 6-10 in like the fourth quarter. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why can't they score? This is that type of game that they would do later in the year, but early in the year, and they're gonna have to throw it a lot. I think. I don't think they'll be able to run very much. So yeah, I'm not buying the Colts at all.
Right. Well, this is what I got to say to end this on my behalf anyways, is as DJ said, we are a podcast for the people. We're a podcast for the dads out there of the world, the beer drinking people out there in the world, the people that just don't have all the time in the world to do it themselves, and they like to have a good time while they're doing it. So we embodied that today. At least I did. I had a beer. I juggled a child. DJ spilled his water before we started, so it's a damn good thing he didn't have any beer.
Yeah.
As the meltdown starts a little bit here, DJ, do you have anything else you would like to add to week 1, or are we going to just throw that money into the old machine and see what gets kicked out?
Yeah, I mean, if you're having a down week, just gamble through it. Put some money on DFS. Again, gamble through it's the key to it. Check out Friday Night Lines. Obviously, Friday usually pop up around 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern. All my favorite college NFL bets. I'll go ahead and I'll send this out. You can find this anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find us on Twitter, obviously at Loaded Box. On Instagram, check out a couple pictures we post every now and then. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, baby, send us out. Good night now. Bye.